Well, West Ham looking for inspiration from one of their own. Mark Noble, a local lad, a Hammers fan, who scored against Brighton in the FA Cup in his only first-team appearance this season. But he's in at the sharp end of things, the business end of the season, a season that's been a drama, a nightmare for West Ham United. Ferdinand, here's Bowyer. They have been good enough under Alan Pardew to beat Arsenal here. Good enough under Alan Kirbishley to beat Manchester United here, but no wins since then. December the 17th in the Premiership. Kincheski, Etherington, both played for Spurs, of course.
Well, everything they do positively. Certainly at 0-0 and early in the game is going to get a huge response from those fans. Just desperate for something to cheer.
They used to cheer Jermaine Defoe, but they're booing him now as an ex-Hammer. Berbatov. Another casual one from Genius. Tevez has made himself very popular in his short time here. Be even more popular if he could score a goal. Noble has the shot and beaten out by Robinson.
Well, that's just the kind of start Alan Kirbishley would have been looking for. Positive. Bad mistake by Genius, a little sloppy play in midfield. Put his team under pressure.
Kincheski. Etherington has just run it out.
Well, it's savable, I will say this. It's well struck from Mark Noble. He'd be very surprised. There's a little ball from Genius, played it without looking. It was sloppy, it wasn't accurate. And as you say, Tevez, the one thing about this lad, he will drive at the defenders, he will go and commit players like he did, 3 of them. But when you see the height and how close this is to Paul Robinson, yes, it comes through a couple of players, but it's at a good height for the goalkeeper to deal with.
Ferdinand, who maybe has a bit of a debt to repay. He got the club into some bad headlines again this week. He's not alone in that respect.
No.
And we often try and let the viewers know some things from behind the scenes. If they don't not know anything about West Ham, it's all been in the papers. And much of it is bad reading for the West Ham fans. Here's Leonard. Berbatov trying to sneak in here, working off the shoulder of Upson and in behind Kincheski, but he's offside.
A little early with his run, that's all. Never bent it enough. But I think Tottenham will know, and Martin Yeo will know that initially, any time his team get the ball, they should be under pressure from a West Ham shirt. Alan Kirbishley will want his side to start quick when they haven't got possession, use the ball well when they have it.
The free header for Harewood. Noble. Perez trying to get it down. Perez does get it down, and in the end, just trying to drop it into a typical run into the penalty area from Lee Bowyer down the years.
He never got it wide enough, Tevez, out his feet to have the shot. I think he quite fancied taking it on. In the end, he improvised and almost picked him out, his mate.
The referee is Mike Dean, who was called in late on Thursday, in fact, when the original choice, Martin Atkinson, was needed to deputise for Graham Poll at Anfield yesterday. Musical chairs for the officials. And Trevor Massey, the assistant there alongside Kincheski. They might miss the core of Tottenham. They've certainly added some extra pace and mobility to their midfield recently, and Cora's been prominent in that.
I think what Martin Yeo has been searching for, Martin, is a combination midfield, hasn't he? And I think what he's found, certainly with the Cora recently, in there is a little bit more stability and a little bit more of an effective combination.
Well, they were absolutely super against Bolton, particularly in the opening 20 minutes last Sunday, 3-0 up. And showed plenty of steel. And Keane was sent off for handballing on the line, a decision that was queried by Spurs, but the appeal was waved away by the authorities. The flag is waving here for offside against Defoe, who plays because of that suspension for Keane.
You just worry about Alan Kirby's side. Should they lose the first goal? Should they go down? I mean, that is going to be a huge test. He must have sent his team out thinking, such an important match. To get the opening goal just might make all the difference in this game.
I think in that respect, Martin Jol will know this. Yeah. The crowd have a big part to play today. The support here can be tremendous. And if they do get on the backs of the home players, it will only add to their current burdens, which are plentiful enough.
Well, you know what it's like. Football fans will forgive most things that they read and hear about their heroes, their team, as long as their team are doing something on the pitch.
Stylishly done by Berbatov. Franceschi tries to bite again. They've got some help from Noble and from Upson. A nice layoff from Harewood. Edrington trying to bend it in. There's a chase on to Tevez, who uses his strength well. Didn't quite have the skill to go with the will. Noble, you know his sense of purpose. We outlined it at the start. He's been a bit too eager here, says referee Dean.
Well, there's pressure, and it's just been silly. And the one thing Alan Kirby can't afford is a player off in the opening 20 minutes of this match. Now, go and close him down, but stay on your feet, yes. A little bit of inexperience there showing from Mark Noble. Anxious to impress, to do well for his club.
Yeah, I think most of all the latter, to do well for his club. He'll certainly be caring about things here, and you would expect West Ham philosophy to be strong in Messrs Kerbishley and Day. Again, their playing careers at Upton Park.
There's that pressure again, though, and that's what I mean about the kind of pressure. And if they're going to bring the ball down early in the game, that's much ado about nothing. It's a free kick. And that's the kind of pressure that they're going to invite, and they have to be up to it, West Ham.
Oh, yeah. Forward by Gardner. Berbatov's offside. And John Hartson was spot on when he said about, and having played here, he knows all about the rivalry between West Ham and Tottenham. Tottenham match is to West Ham what the Arsenal match is to Spurs.
Yeah.
Dawson was one of those who was pretty sick when he came here. That was before the game. All of Spurs were sick after it. Back in May. Accusations of food poisoning. It won't surprise you to learn that Spurs stayed at a different hotel last night. A pretty spiky start. Berbatov. West Ham free kick. Confidence is the key when you're struggling, and nothing like a goal to give a boost, particularly to the likes of Marlon Harewood. Can be a bit introspective when things aren't going well. I'm sure he's hoping to add to his goals tally here as Tevez, again with that rather uncomplicated style of his, head down and get at him.
Well, his first touch and collect from their long crossfield pass was exquisite. Just showed lack of a left foot, if you could say that about an Argentinian international. Trying to flick it with the outside his right might have been better, just wrapping his left foot round it, helping it into the area.
Tevez with the corner. Met by Tanio.
And he's given the throw. Yeah, hasn't gone for a corner.
Matthew Upson, 10 minutes into his
coming off because
comeback game.
Strip mark, look right down the front of us.
He was injured away at Aston Villa on his West Ham debut. And they've tried to hurry up the recovery process. Obviously, seems it might be the same problem again. We'll find out, of course. It might be something fresh.
And you know, I've got a funny feeling it's the same kind of situation, Mark Lee. Villa, he tried to climb over a player, didn't he, who just more or less used a back and he fell awkwardly. Well, a couple of minutes ago, Berbatov did the same. He was given a free kick, Upson, but he tried to climb over Berbatov and might have just landed a little awkwardly.
Well, Konchesky's playing in the middle, Upson's out of it. And out of the game now.
Well, Jeff posed the question to Alan Curbishley, could it get any worse? It just has done. Look at that, not even 11 minutes into the game.
But it's another of the ex-Tottenham contingent here at Upton Park who comes on. Rueful, Alan Curbishley, Callum Davenport, who didn't have a very happy time at Curbishley's old club Charlton last weekend. There's a bit of sympathy there in the Tottenham bench as well. But, West Ham have to fight on. Here's Quasi doing just that.
Unlucky. It looked a little extravagant, but a little flick at the Harewood's one was there for Tevez.
Here's Lee. Genus. Up by Defoe. Ball inside Etherington, trying to locate Chimbonda. He's prepared to run the gauntlet there, Jermaine Defoe, just to get the ball back. And still Tottenham aren't set for this throw. Here's Defoe. Gali.
Tottenham's ability, or lack of it, to pass the ball under pressure like that might just be the key to them winning this game or not this afternoon.
Not doing that to Tottenham, pass the ball on after Lee Bowyer record to Lee Young-kyo.
See, things like that, just forcing up the errors, elementary mistakes.
Given away rather easily by Harewood. Lennon. Gali. Berbatov.
What a save, son.
A spreading save by Robert Green when Berbatov was not flagged offside.
Well, I thought Genius was off. I'm not so sure about Berbatov. That's why I wasn't shouting offside. I think Genius is definitely offside here. Ball's flicked through there. Now you see two are coming out and off. Now he is slightly ahead of the play, but he gets the advantage. It's borderline. But look at Green out, brave at his feet. That's a super save.
Tainio. Oh, it's dropped over Ferdinand and Berbatov stopped by Green again, and Defoe can't keep the follow-up down.
It needed a touch, Jermaine. It needed a touch, but twice in seconds. This man has kept this man out. This, to me, is a better chance for Berbatov. Lovely ball over the top, and they don't deal with it, West Ham. Now, they needed their goalkeeper. This is a different kind of save. He's using his feet, he's staying big. Look at his save, look at his position. Excellent. Beautiful reactions, top-class goalkeeping. That one, he's got to take a touch in that. Move the ball.
Well, you talk about confidence, Andy. Robert Green played in 5 consecutive defeats for West Ham, conceding 14 goals along the way. And now he's made 2 excellent saves to stop the Hammers falling behind again.
They really were very, very good saves.
Here's Konchesky. Set up for Noble! West Ham United lead. A West Ham fan has provided it. 19-year-old Mark Noble.
Well, isn't this game we watched just amazing? should be talking about West Ham 1
Maybe 2 down.
Could be, but they're not, because of this moment of magic from their young 19-year-old. Lovely setup from Tevez, and make no mistake, this is not an easy chance. He drills it. Yes, it goes through Dawson's legs. That's what makes it difficult for the goalkeeper. He goes to block it right through the legs and nestles in the bottom corner. Suddenly life doesn't seem as bad as it did a few minutes ago when he watched Upson trek off.
Well, young players sometimes don't feel the fear. And I was watching Noble in the warm-up, relating to the crowd, and he's come out and played the game with his heart and his head. I know it's early, but he had that shot right at the start, and now he's got his first Premiership goal. And here's Davenport in a slightly leggy fashion, getting in at Defoe but not dispossessing him, and it's Lennon with his toes twinkling, and it's game on.
Well, we might just have a game. And the reason we've got a game is if I don't think West Ham are that waterproof at the back and confident in their own ability to protect Leeds, you might have a bit more to do, that man. And they might need more than the one.
Well, green fingers at one end and a Noble effort at the other. Dawson. Gali. Strength of Harewood. Extra belief here. Tevez, 4 forward for West Ham United. Konchesky. Etherington.
Well, that's no excuse for seeing this again. It might just be a big goal. But they want the ball left here, and Noble just drifts in field, and then he goes and attaches himself. Just tucks in behind Tainio. What a strike he's picked out there.
Well, he's played 2, scored 2 for West Ham this season, Mark Noble. Started the campaign on loan at Ipswich. Another goal in the FA Cup against Brighton in January. And up by Konchesky. No one attacking it for West Ham this time. It's a free header for Michael Dawson. Neil. Davenport is back at West Ham for a second spell. Tottenham loaned him to Upton Park back in 2004. Tevez. Dawson recovered.
Well, he might not know an awful lot about the league or even the club he plays for, but you can't question his commitment today. Right from the first minute, he's been at it, he's been busy, he's tried to be a nuisance, great things, and he has done. And a lovely little chest pass to Noble for the goal.
There's Gali. Plenty of hard work from West Ham United in this passage of the game, and Noble's there again. Everything coming from the left, and he can't find it. Oh, lucky.
But they're doing quite well. They've not been overcommitted as well. I mean, that ball, when Lee Bowyer gets it, you might think the right back Lucas Neal would be trotting up there, but no, he's a little reserved, allowing the lads ahead to weave their magic if they can. Now, have a look at this from the little camera behind the net. Look at the speed of that. Look how quickly it's past the goalkeeper. He stands no chance. Lovely strike.
And his first Premiership goal is past the England goalkeeper. trying to get it down, but he doesn't. And rather dropped his shoulders, but he's on the ball here. Shorter matches, remember.
Oh, that's a great goal. I still fault Berbatov that he's not there because he's just played the pass out in Lennon's pace. But that's a super little chip in. If you've got a midfield player catching him.
It's Defoe. Oh, that would have been an own goal by Bowyer. Berbatov, and Green's denied him for a third time, but it was chaotic for West Ham prior to that.
Well, they're going to have to defend better. This is dreadful defending. Lee Bowyer almost an own goal. That's another great save. And look how quickly he's up. I mean, that's smashed at him. I don't think he knows a lot about that. Hits him right in the forehead. But because he's big, stays up there, he gets a bit of luck. And who's to say he hasn't deserved it with the saves he's made? Well, what a day he's having, Berbatov. Might have had a hat-trick within, what, 20 minutes of this game.
I'm finding it hard to believe that they are still behind. Some wonder in there. Genius!
Oh, well wide. Well, you know it's wide because Noble, who's on the post, you see him there, doesn't pay us any attention at all.
Well, it's been a glorious 22 minutes for Robert Green. The bad news is 68 minutes to go.
In the life of a goalkeeper, as we know only too well, Mr. Tyler, can be, you know, 20 minutes of glory, making 3 or 4 great saves, but if you make that error,
0-0.
Yeah.
Here's Quasi.
Yeah, it's got to be better. Quasi can take this out his feet a bit better, I think, as well. But he's drifted in between the two centre midfield players. You can see that. Well, he gets stuck a little bit. Tainio and Genius have got to do a little bit better. Noble gets away for the goal. Quasi gets away for that shot, really, in between them.
Martignol on the prowl. His team trailing.
That's a super goal.
Davenport heads away. And on the bounce, Berbatov. Defoe. Tevez. Everton making ground. Howard, who was turning, hoping he would get there, following up was Quasi asking for a corner and getting it. And Tevez going across to take it.
No, I just can't tell you the importance of that goal for West Ham to take the lead in this game. You just see the way they've responded since the goal. They all want the ball now. They all think they can play again.
Pretty much where it came from Dawson. Even when Tevez has been on the bench at the start of games, the West Ham fans have been calling for him right from the off.
Well, it's only his 10th league start, and the one thing he does need is to play football regularly. He hasn't had that luxury since he arrived at this club. Getting a little run now, and I think that shows.
There's been so much levelled at the transfers, anti the two Argentinians. Mascherano, of course, has moved on to Liverpool now. And I think in that deal being put through, maybe the original arrangement between Tevez and Mascherano, and who actually owned their registration, came to light with the Premiership. A case that West Ham have got to answer in the weeks ahead. Genius.
Oh, that's good pressure again. It seemed they didn't do an awful lot there, West Ham. But Genius has got the ball comfortable halfway line. 2 passes later, it's back with their goalkeeper. And it's purely because marking up ahead of Genius was pretty good.
Tottenham players asking for handball against Konchesky. Berbatov. Defoe. Waiting on the left, behind him is Lee. West Ham held their line, held their nerve.
Well, there was a little bit of action there. It was the difference between two front men sometimes. Ball played up to Harewood, took all sorts of trouble getting hold of it, lost it, then it's fizzed up to that man there. Touch, deadly, sticks with him, turns, Tottenham won the attack. It's up to you. Harewood should know this. It's got to stick better than it has done.
There's Gardner. He's given it away. And Harewood, an expansive ball. Still going.
Oh, that unlucky. Worked really hard to try and keep that in, Marlon Harewood. Lovely angle ball from, you know, a yard lower, takes it on his chest, probably gets a shot on. Just a fraction too high for him.
Konchesky stepping in. Harewood worked hard to make it his. Oh, it's not on target, but again, it's got the crowd thinking positively.
This is a really difficult one. Just use power here. Look, he's coming in here and he's got defenders in front of him, facing him up. This is one that I didn't think the shot was on.
Nigel Krause switched the play in the first place. There's Etherington. Big decision for Alan Kirbysley to pick the team today. He had all the fit members of the first team squad, over 20 in the dressing room an hour and a half before the kick-off, before he announced his verdict on who'd be starting. On to Berbatov. For Defoe. Berbatov's out of the equation. Genius is going into the middle. Defoe can be a danger from the edge of the area. Tanio, Lennon, and that's the goalkeepers.
Yeah, he just got caught. I think a little finger maybe just grazed the eye, caught the hand in the face. Nothing much for him.
Yeah, he's just feeling sorry for himself for a few seconds.
Maybe entitled to feel a little bit sorry for himself. 3 pretty good efforts on goal. And 3 pretty good saves from Robert Green.
Scored in the 16th minute. They've held their lead for 16 more minutes. Mark Noble.
That's a difficult ball for Harewood. We'll get Gardner and Dawson, 2 very good centre-backs in the air. A really difficult ball for Harewood to be winning the majority of them.
Anton Ferdinand, I think Genius came in a little over-aggressively then.
Well, 6-1. I think Jermaine Genius asking the question earlier on Jermaine Defoe. I think that's why he went into the tackle straight away after it. We felt Defoe was fouled. I think we just let both go.
Bit of running repairs for Berbatov. Laporte, who was right tight on the Defoe a moment or two ago. It's one off Genius. Party trying to chase it away by Dawson. Magnificent control from Berbatov. And the pass, and unfortunately for Tottenham, the flag.
Well, they just about got it right, I think. I know we're not in line, but I think he's just ahead of Konchesky. Lovely play, this. You look at the little diagonal run, and if you watch when the ball's played, oh, I tell you, look at the far side. Look at the far side. Flag should stay down. Wasn't offside. Lucas Neal playing them on. He shakes his head and he's right.
A good score against his old club here in that 2-1 Tottenham defeat in May. And he certainly should have had the chance to score again there.
Well, there's enough in this game, Martin, isn't there, for Tottenham not to feel too dispirited. I know they're 1 down, but they must be thinking to themselves, hold on, we are 1 down, but we've created 4 or 5 really good opportunities. That might have been another one. And the official got the decision right. So plenty to be upbeat about Tottenham.
And plenty for West Ham as well. And Noble again, an inspiration. Anton Ferdinand got his first Premiership goal at White Hart Lane last season. He's forward here. A touch from Harewood. Tevez, who was the corner taker, and comes out to Harewood with plenty to aim at, and he's missed the target to Robinson's relief.
Well, he thrashes at it, and sometimes thinking your weaker foot, maybe you side foot it, maybe you opt for control. It's a beautiful ball in, but he's rather quick. You know, one of those where it comes quickly, maybe just a little side foot where you can control the ball a bit better. And he thrashed at it wildly, had no real control. The ball in was the key. Really wicked little bendy ball into that front post. Really difficult to deal with.
Minutes to go. It's been an eventful first half. There's Tevez running in behind Lee. They're looking for life to find their soul again, West Ham United. And Tevez is certainly doing his bit.
Well, I think what they need to do, regardless of where their future lies, whether it's in this league or the one below it, what Alan Kirbysh is looking for is an end to the season that makes sure the beginning of next season's a positive one and an upbeat one. And if they are going out this league, it's not with a whimper, it's with a roar. That's what he's looking for.
Berbatov trying to hold the opposition in his wake.
He's lucky not to get booked there, Lee Boyer. You know, a tackle from behind like that. The player's going away from you normally. To give away a free kick, it's normally followed by a yellow card, but he gets away with it. He hasn't always done, mind you, has he?
Yeah. He's got a bit of a charge sheet, hasn't it? Might be needed again. Tottenham's free kick specialist is Jermaine Genius.
Green's got a pretty central position. He's looking to try and get it, just checking his wall again. He's pretty central, the goalkeeper. Favouring one side or the other.
Yes, I can't get it over the wall to see whether that position could be a question. Here's Lee. Noble. Tottenham short of numbers in this attack. Noble's there again. Really trying to drive it first time to Aaron Lennon.
I mean, even though they have the lead, I still get the feeling that they're fragile, West Ham.
this poor record in London derbies.
Yeah,
3 wins in the last 22 of them, but you know, Andy, the 3 wins all against Charlton Athletic, managed by Alan Kirbyshire. Tevez. Etherington. Tevez again. It was a very punching challenge out to Dawson Starr, really. He rarely pulls out.
Well, I think what decides this for Mike Dean is the fact that the ball doesn't come away from Tottenham's goal when Dawson, if Dawson's going to win the ball, then the ball's got to come away from the goal. And when it doesn't, and it's going still towards their goal, he has to make the decision that he didn't get the tackle right. Well, Genius was asked a question at the other end, couldn't produce something. Tevez will undoubtedly show an interest in this from this side of the pitch. It's made for the right footer. He's come close this season, hasn't he? Little Argentinian from this sort of area. Rattled the woodwork, I think, at this end of the pitch against Newcastle, I think it was early in the season. To Robinson's right-hand side he went.
Is there a game of bluff going on here? Or maybe double bluff. Chesky, the left footer. West Ham have got 3 in and around the Tottenham wall. One of whom now gets a yellow card, Pascal Chimbonda. It's his 5th, but he gets just an FA warning now. Amnesty after the end of February in that respect. It is Tevez! Goal! For Carlos Tevez at long last! And for West Ham United, the luxury of a 2-0 lead.
Well, he'll get out of that crowd and he'll probably get a yellow card. That's how sad football is at times. This club's had virtually nothing. Other players have had nothing to cheer about and be happy about all season. They suddenly have a 2-goal lead in a local derby in a massive game. I feel pretty certain Mike Dean is going to book him. I just need to see this again. This is pretty central to me. It's floated in, it's not really got a lot of pace in it. But it beats the England and Tottenham goalkeeper. Look at this, it's floated over. Well, it's up and it's over his hand and it clips the underside of the bar, but I don't think the England goalkeeper will be very happy that he's beaten so centrally from a floated free kick like that. No real power in it, drifts it in. And what a first half this has been for West Ham at both ends of the pitch. The goalkeeper's done his bit and the outfield players have done theirs, and suddenly, well, Alan Kirbishley's thinking maybe, just maybe.
The yellow card has been shown to Tevez. I was hesitating to interrupt you, Andy. He was spot on.
Bonkers.
But, maybe the manager's doing his bit as well.
Yeah.
He's stuck with Tevez. Mike Dean, I think a reluctant referee, but he's got an assessor who will hammer him.
Absolutely, I'm not blaming Mike Dean.
Doesn't deal with the Hammers attacker.
It's not Mike Dean's fault, is it?
Free kick to Spurs. There are bubbles again of optimism at Upton Park. And it can change in a flash. A goal for Spurs here before half-time, and the old neuroses could surface again for the home side. Gene is taking his time.
Well, no. Where's the next target for West Ham? Half-time at 2-0. Concentration here now. Get touch tight. Your man doesn't score. He doesn't get a free header.
Genius takes. And it's just nicked away from Berbatov. There was an infringement spotted by the referee. It's his moment.
Well, he's waited long enough. And you look at the goalkeeper's position. He's just, what, 2 or 3 yards, he's off his line, and that's the key. Now, a goalkeeper shouldn't be standing on his line, but the fact is he's off it, and the height that the ball goes over him, that's the key.
Well, he's been saying he wants to stay here for the rest of his career. He certainly won't have understood too much of what was said in the crowd. He's got the football language, though.
Well, as I said earlier on in this half, Martin, I think he's been great, Tevez, this half. And I think probably because he probably doesn't realise what all the fuss is about half the time. And he doesn't know the importance and the pressure that a lot of these players have been under. And he's played like that. He's been busy, he's been a pest, as I said. He's been a right nuisance. And just how big that second goal might be, well, there's plenty of this game to be played, and I think Martin Jol will rattle into his team a little bit at half-time, and he'll want a reaction second half. That face tells a story.
Tevez scoring in his 20th appearance for West Ham United. Gully, Genius said the first forward, he was
looking for Genius. It was just a little rush for the pass there. Hassan Galley. Two minutes it is of stoppage time.
West Ham with only 20 points, 5 wins, 5 draws. And they've got themselves to 20 goals now with the 2 today.
Yeah. Taking a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's game 29.
Well, I think Alan Kirbysh, seeing the board go up, will just be catching his breath a little and thinking, right, I've got to get this team talk just right. They're having a little chat there, and then the key peacock. And it's that kind of time when people say, when do these guys earn the money? Well, he's going to do that in about a minute's time. Pitch it right in there. He knows better than most. He's been there.
Because if they lose this game from this position...
Oh, forget it. Good night. Good night and goodbye, I should say.
The way things have gone wrong for West Ham United.
Nothing's certain. I mean, we know that. You only have to look at games that you see time and again, and teams go 2-0 up. Even today, Bolton are trailing 2-0. They get a goal late on, and suddenly there's panic in Blackburn's defence, and they almost concede a second.
Oh, Watford lost a 2-0 lead yesterday.
There you go, late on. It happens.
But Robinson rattled here. West Ham looking to end perhaps the most exhilarating half of football they've had in the Premiership this season on the attack. Berbatov coming back to try and stimulate some signs of revival here for Spurs.
Jimmy and Genius just jumping in there on Callum Davenport.
Well, there have been some big games on the fixture list this weekend.
Yeah.
But there's a stirring story unfolding here for West Ham United. Carlos Tevez has been at the heart of it so far. He's made one, and he's scored one, his first goal. He made the one for Mark Noble, who got off the mark in Premiership terms. But prior to that, Robert Green with some really remarkable saves. But they're on their feet, applauding around Upton Park. Not at the Tottenham end, though. Spurs trail West Ham United by 2-0 at the break. Well, there's a change for Tottenham Hotspur about to be made. Tom Huddleston is coming on for Hossam Ghali. Probably means a change of role, Andy, for Tainio.
I would expect right side, where he played against Bolton, as you said last weekend. Yeah, it'll be right side. Can't see Huddleston being asked to trek up and down that right-hand side.
This is uncharted territory for West Ham United at home in the Premiership this season. A 2-0 lead. But a long 45 minutes.
And when do you get nervous if you're West Ham? Players, fans.
Headed by Neil. Huddleston. Lennon. Oh, he's mishit it, and Jeanison Green saved again, but it was he didn't know it, but the flag was up for offside.
Well, it's a dreadful attempt from Aaron Lennon as he drifts infield. They're just allowing him to do this too often, you know. I think they know that he's going to want to go infield. As he hits this, you can see 3 are offside, and goalkeeper doesn't know that. But yet again, Robert Green, at the moment, they shall not pass.
Hayward. Tevez. Plenty of midfield support to the Argentinian. Ferdinand. Well, he was the target. Hayward. Now Neil. Need to show confidence in possession, West Ham, and they're certainly doing that here.
Yeah, that was a little decent passage of play, that. Might not have gone very far, but they kept the ball. Marked difference to, I guess, the beginning of this game.
Let's get a bit of up-to-the-minute news from our touchline man, Jeff Shrews. Jeff.
Just had a quick word with the West Ham physio, and he said Matthew Upson, he went up for that header, and he just felt his calf tighten. It is the same calf that's kept him out the last couple of games, but he just felt it tighten, so he came off as a precaution, and they're fairly optimistic that it's not too serious.
Well, more good news for Alan Kirbishley.
He's almost done himself an injury there. There's no real chance of getting this ball. He's really going to have to go through Aaron Lennon to get there. Comes off second best there. He'll probably get one more, Boya, and he might find himself in the boot.
Taking their time over getting set for this free kick. Allowed Gardner to come forward. Well defended by Neil. Tevez. Well, there was a break on here. Tainio not actually caught in a last man scenario, but there wasn't much cover around.
No, and I think high enough up the pitch not to consider this a genuine goal-scoring opportunity.
Actually, Etherington was poised, wasn't he? Trying to stay on the side, just wanting a touch from Tevez.
If he had got it down earlier, he could have got it there, but the ball wouldn't sit for them.
When he goes in, Michael Dawson, he really does go in.
Yeah, and when you go in like that, you've got to get it right. Otherwise, you're automatically getting a booking if you don't. Well, we've got Huddleston on. That's got to be a positive move as far as Spurs are concerned, but can he get enough of the ball? Can they get him enough of the ball? And will his range of passion affect the game?
And here he is. And there's the pass and the range of skills that he's got. Lennon.
That's a
yeah. Penalty. Mike Dean has given the spot kick to Spurs.
Well, we might all be proved wrong in a minute, but my first reaction, as I said, it's a penalty. It's an awkward one. And he gets his body there. Look at that now. Does he get any contact? None at all. I was right. We were all right. Mike Dean was right. There's not an argument about this whatsoever. First impressions are usually right. They're proved to be. We talked about Huddleston, what, 5 seconds before?
Yeah.
An
magnificent pass.
Picture of a piece of football from him.
Well, Jermaine Defoe stepping up at Upton Park, a ground he knows only too well, in the colours of Tottenham Hotspur here. And Green has stopped pretty much everything thrown at him so far. He faces a Defoe penalty. And is beaten by a Defoe penalty.
Game on. Not too much in the way of celebration for Jermaine Defoe. Big moment for him. Has a little look at the goalkeeper here and he sees him go and he just slides it comfortably into the corner. Not being too precise here. If the goalkeeper goes the wrong way, it's easy. Just a little look, that's all.
Well, it's a test not only of West Ham's footballing ability now, it's a test of their courage and character as well. The lead has been halved within 5 minutes of the start of the second half. And Jermaine Defoe not just playing with passion because it's against West Ham, but because he wants to impress Martin Jol to get back into the starting rotation again. So, his fans shouting for a penalty at the other end for handball against Lee.
You see, I think where Lee Bowyer's concerned, I don't think you invite that decision to be made in a situation like that. You're 2-0 up. Lennon is running, but he's not really goal threatening. He's running towards the byline. Staying on his feet and just going with him might well have been the best decision. To launch into a tackle against someone who's as quick as Lennon, who can just nick it past you, is dangerous.
Huddleston getting on the ball again. Lennon. Berbatov just has to check to stay onside. Hit by Neil, right in front of the referee. Card out.
Well, it looks like he goes across, Neil. You always try and teach players, if people are chasing you, go across the run. Then they can throw you 9 bookings already for Lucas Neil this season.
There's no amnesty when you get to 10. Not yet, anyway. That's a 2-game ban. There's the tide turning here Tottenham's way. Genius. Tevez gets more applause.
Yeah, that's a couple of poor free kicks from Jermaine Genius from this area.
Berbatov, Lennon. Goalkeeper came out trying to get there. There's also a challenge from Callum Davenport, in which I think he might have hurt himself as well.
Well, I wondered about that. A little flick from Berbatov. It was there to swing his right foot, his strong foot at.
Davenport still limping, but he got there.
Well, here we go for the first time today. Pressure. Questions.
Martin Jol may well have said something along the lines, score the next goal and you can win the game. He's done the first part of that. Huddleston. Wonderful vision so soon after coming on from the Spurs substitute. Put into action by Martin Jol. Genius with the flick, cleared by Davenport. Dainio. Lee. Lennon's position, stretching the play again. Came across with his left foot. Here's Chimbonda. Huddleston. Touched on by Tanio. Now Berbatov.
Well, the angle against him, I'm just a bit surprised with him. But the traffic's one way at the moment, and it's heading towards Robert Green. But he came on, we talked about his range of passing. Would it influence the game, we said. Well, my goodness, it didn't take long. Look at this. One touch, and what about that for a pass? Absolutely top draw. And that's why I think Bowyer's, he's got a decision to make, but stay on your feet and just track him if you can.
Well, Green had a decision to make as well, and it was the wrong way he dived. The problem is for Callum Davenport, which came in that skirmish just after the penalty in the West Ham penalty area. Davenport went for a ball that Green came out for as well, and he might even been caught by his own goalkeeper.
Well, this is definitely winnable now for Tottenham.
What you're also saying is losable for West Ham United.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, as he goes in to help his goalkeeper here, gets clobbered in between, takes a knock. It looks like it's just an impact injury, so if it is, it should be okay. Might be a bit painful, but should be able to run it off. Another change for Tottenham.
Jermaine Jenas has gone off for Spurs during that break in play. And Paul Stalteri played a lot last season, but it's hardly been seen this season. He's the 4th Premiership appearance, all as a substitute. Canadian international.
It's an early change, second half, isn't it? You know, you think 10 minutes in, you got a goal back already. He's obviously seen something.
It's a groin strain,
and that's one. And look at Davenport had his treatment coming off to the side. I gather that's all he's doing. Well, it looks like Stalteri dropping into right back, and Chimbonda's going to play ahead of him.
Tania's back in the middle of midfield again.
All change again.
This time with Huddleston as a partner. Quasi is in that part of the pitch for West Ham United. Robertson advances.
It's the only thing he has to be careful about, Berbatov. He doesn't jump a lot. A lot of the time he'll watch the flight of the ball, look at the defender, and then just at the last minute he puts his body in between defender and the ball. A lot of referees don't like that.
Harewood making Gardner play it. Thought he made him play it unfairly, but just a bit of progress made by West Ham, and they need to, even if it's just territorially, reassert themselves again. They'd love to reinstate their 2-goal cushion. Noble coming to collect. Neil. Down goes Bowyer. Martin's having nothing to do with that, and he blocks Lee's attempted clearance. Last played against Reading, he went off very early in that 6-0 defeat on New Year's Day.
And they're asking for trouble here.
And they might well get it. Harewood's offside though if he goes in on this. And
well, that's crackers, that play between Stalteri and the goalkeeper.
(2-1) to West Ham, as it was after 90 minutes here in May against Spurs. A match that had more significance for Tottenham than it did for the Hammers that day. It's not the case here. Defoe, who played the ball with his hand when he went to ground.
Well, I tell you, that's generous at fault. How on earth does he know his arms are going down? His arms are going down to balance. I don't know his arms are going down to control the ball. He falls to the ground there like that. Are you telling me that's a handball? Do me a favour. It's a terrible decision.
He's happy with it.
Well, he would be, wouldn't he?
gives Robert Green a few extra seconds. A bit of talk this season about goalkeepers taking their time. Harewood. Now Gardner. Simone Defoe sort of planted his feet in the ground and said to Anton Ferdinand, you've got to come and get it somehow. So he's accused of backing into the West Ham defender. And he's still wearing his perplexed expression. There is Defoe. Gets stuck, Ferdinand. Berbatov, hoping someone's anticipated his early cross. And Bonda might have been a bit slow out of the blocks there. Emergency midfield man.
I have to say, Olkincheski, I mean, that's taking a risk. I mean, that looked to me a pretty rash challenge. Ball's dropping out the air, and he's just almost clambering over the top of Chimbonda.
Getting applause rather from the West Ham management for closing down Lee and making him play it out. Well, nerves do strange things to people. In Paul Konchesky's case, it's made him a bit clumsier. Tevez, Noble goes for the pass this time to Bowyer. Back to Quasi, they're out of shooting range now, West Ham. Konchesky, anticipated by Chimbonda.
Well, there might be a yellow card there. I'm surprised if it's not. Yeah. Tottenham up as well. Trying to catch Lucas Neal by the looks of things.
A good number of them for reckless attempted tackles. Chimbonda's a useful asset in the air if they do play it in. It's the other number 2, Lucas Neal, who deals with the danger to West Ham. Konchesky. Tevez. Chimbonda and Berbatov. Defoe herring into the middle. It's over him. It reaches Lennon. Oh, what a goal from Tainio. And it's 2-2 here. That's brilliant from Tottenham.
Oh, this is a goal constructed of the highest quality. It really, really is. Well, he looks perplexed, but he's no reason to. They give it away here. Probably the best player, Tevez, gets robbed. But of course, Konchesky's going to head a Berbatov. But he has a look, and this is deliberate. He picks out Lennon. Now, what about Lennon's cheek? Watch the way he cushions this ball. That's ridiculous. And then Tainio, can he finish it off under pressure? Well, there's your answer. Wonderful, wonderful goal.
The 2-0 lead has evaporated in the first 18 minutes of the second half. And West Ham are under huge pressure here.
Well, you talked about it first half, you mentioned it to me. What would happen to West Ham should a 2-0 advantage be lost and squandered and turn into a defeat? And we're very close to that now.
Ferdinand. Quasi has reset the agenda here for the home side.
What they've got to do is clear their heads. They've got to get back in. They've got to start contesting again. They dropped off it. The goal Certainly the penalty was a right kick in the teeth early in the second half for West Ham. They'd like to get into the second half without conceding. They didn't. It was perfect for Martignol's side, and they have gone on from there. They have definitely been the dominant force second half. It's been continual pressure on the West Ham defence. The ball's been flowing one way. All of the game has been played basically where we are right now, in West Ham's defensive third.
There's all sorts of confusion around Konchesky. It comes to Lennon. Well, West Ham lost 13 of the 16 games prior to the departure of Alan Pardew, and it hasn't got much better for Alan Kirbishley. And even with his diligent research, I don't think he quite realised the extent of the problems that he walked into here when he accepted the job. All is not yet lost today, of course, but a 2-0 lead has gone. Boga. Tevez. He doesn't look as though he'll let his head drop. Having to backheel it to prevent the corner. It's Tevez maybe the catalyst for the right kind of change for West Ham again. Somewhat gingerly, Davenport makes his way up for the corner. It's easily dealt with by the front man, Berbatov. Defoe. For Berbatov.
A little bit too far with the touch there, unlike him.
Well, it was back to being a fun palace, Upton Park, for the West Ham fans in the first half. It's a bleak house again here. Because you can't deal in draws in West Ham's situation. No. Chimbonda, and they're fearing the worst. The home support, you can sense that. Huddleston. Important for Alan Kirbish's players that they keep the belief. Get back to what they were doing so well in the first half. Well, that's Chimbonda. He was booked. Remember that incident in the wall in the first half. Boga.
Well, Mike then just shook his fingers as if to say no, nothing in it for me, but Quasi, I think it is, hasn't got up.
West Ham not aware that they're down to 10 men, it seems. Neil has hardly got forward at all. Recognises the need to do that maybe more now and take the chance of what might happen behind him. It's a dangerous game with Lennon on his side of the pitch. And Lee, willing accomplice here. And here's Lennon.
Two ball from him. Berbatov's furious that Lee didn't play him in earlier. He made a run, and there was a bit of space in behind. Lee just kept running with the ball, didn't see the run. And you watch this, there's Berbatov, middle of the park, then he makes a run. The ball doesn't come. Look at his frustration. Not a happy bunny at all there.
Limped back into proceedings here. We've seen the psychology of these recoveries before, Andy, and the team that get the 2 goals back suddenly. What's going to happen for us now? We've got to be a bit more careful at the back. We don't want to throw away all our good work in the second half. Maybe Tottenham are just experiencing that slightly. Certainly West Ham trying to get on the ball more with Noble. Don't fail them in that respect. Livingston runs into trouble. Noble again. Konchesky. Tevez is on the left ahead of him. Howard is the one with the pace, but they can't find some space to get him in behind.
Look at that. Huge pressure from Tottenham. where the 2 goals have come from.
He's gone in rather blind by Quasi, but it's quite a useful ball. Maybe Bowyer in his Leeds United days would have been in there anticipating something like that, but it's not so easy to anticipate when your heart is aching. The side has shot 2 goals in the second half. Quasi again. Franceschi. Noble. Tevez, Noble wanted it back. Stuck with Tevez though, Bowyer. Tevez shows again, he's not stopped running really. It's been a tremendous performance for him. The flag is up. And although in the end Bowyer puts it in the net, Etherington has been given offside.
Long ago. Long ago. And you see Etherington coming along the 18-yard line. Perfect. Linesman's right in line with it. Decision's a correct one. I wouldn't say a good one, I'd just say it's a correct one.
Defoe.
That's a little loose, that ball.
Bowyer's tiring. Understandably so. He won't shirk it, Lee Bowyer, you can be sure of that. Tevez finding the pass too long.
Now, we've hardly posed a problem to Paul Roberts in the second half. West Ham. Jermaine Defoe limping a little bit away from the action. Looks a little uncomfortable.
No reach by Neil because Lennon was alert around him. Mido's not involved for Tottenham today, incidentally. He's not fully fit either. So with Keane suspended. There's a French player, Adel Tarapt, on the bench, an attacking midfield man.
Attempts remain the same for West Ham as they were at the end of the opening 45. They haven't added any to the 6. Tottenham's has grown.
Could we count Lee Bowyer's near own goal in those Tottenham attempts?
We'll have to check with the stat man.
Certainly needed saving by Green. Neil. To Martinio. Another moment to show that not all is well with Jermaine Defoe.
I think he just feels it was a free kick. It's a kind of challenge from Davenport. Foot up like that high, you get a free kick anytime you play in Europe, but they're a little bit more lenient in this league.
Chimbonda. Huddleston. Such a big chap for a young man. Blessed with such poise. I guess it's always going to be a question around him covering the ground. It's such an athletic league, the Premiership.
I think you're right in that.
To balance that with the fantastic touch and grace that he brings to Spurs midfield. Tipped on by Konchesky. Oh, and Tevez had a bit of a kick out then. He might be feeling the frustration, but he mustn't show too much of it.
Yeah, yes, he's so much smaller than Dawson that he's leaning on him all the time.
Ball's gone.
Still not the lash there.
Is that a contradiction in terms? A little lash?
Yeah, I guess it was.
There's little Lennon. Berbatov. I feel he's likely to do something before the 90 minutes are up. His critics have pointed to maybe a lack of productivity in away games compared to what he's the wonders that he's done at White Hart Lane.
be fair. But I think acceptable in your opening season. Still think he's been a huge success. Him and Benny McCarthy, probably the two that stick out in the first season in this league, and what they've contributed to really positively to their teams.
McCarthy's had another very significant day today. He's got the better of Gardner. Bit of a mismatch, it seemed. Ferdinand. Well, if you're in the middle of the table in West Ham's position, you might just say, well, today, OK, we've lost the 2-0 lead, we'll close it out and take the point. But they are not in that position. They're bottom of the table.
Well, that might just be a little bit of, I've had a couple of whacks myself and nothing's been done about it. Well, the card's out. You can see that in his left hand. That's a bouncing ball. It's up there. He certainly meant a bit of business there, Nigel Quasi. Left a calling card.
Mike Dean not making a big deal of it. It's always good to see when a referee goes to a player rather than summoning him back. There's another one.
7 hits, Tottenham up, isn't he?
Well, he's spoilt for choice, Alan Kirbishley, today, but he might not be in the weeks ahead. And that is the 6th booking today for West Ham United.
Oh, no.
That means a fine of £25,000.
Oh, dear.
Well, we haven't shown too much of Egert Magnusson. It's a bit unfair in the first half, really, when he had something to cheer. But now the problems are mounting again. He is the owner. And the man who ultimately has to accept responsibility. But he is a football man too. I think he'll understand the depth of the difficulties that the management that he brought in are having to cope with. Neil. It's risky by Quasi again.
It was risky, you're right, but it was a decent tackle.
Here's Tevez. Another decent tackle by Dawson. Konchesky. Howard started to go for it, didn't really read the flight. But did retrieve the ball. Neil. It's Quasi. Corner.
No, he was under good pressure. It's half a chance, but look how quickly two white shirts get in front of him there. Not so sure that is a corner, but still Perry doesn't think anything near it. I think they're about to make a change anyway. It may have involved Quasi.
Yeah, I think for his own protection, really, that latest incident with Tainio on the halfway line. How close he might be to being sent off rather than substituted off.
And that's one of those where you had to have the shot and somebody looks to block it and you hit their foot. It can be very, very painful. And these metatarsal injuries that are going about at the moment as well. They were going to take him off, but he's definitely going now. The signal from there was no more.
Steve Allen, the physio. Kirbishley, of course, played in West Ham's midfield as a teenager himself. As he now gives the instructions to 19-year-old Mark Noble.
Substitution for West Ham, leaving number 33, Nigel Quasi.
Coming on is the striker from Spain, Kepa.
Oh, he's got a problem with that. That's definitely a sore one. Hopefully no bone damage to Quasi, but it doesn't look very good.
Kepa, who's on loan from Sevilla, scored against Liverpool very soon after coming on as a substitute. He's particularly good in the air. That good in the air. He's just steered it wide.
Well, Huddersfield decided to attach himself to Kepa here. Some decent movement. Just missed things ahead a little, so.
West Ham would have been happy to see the ball going in towards the recently arrived player.
And it looks like Harewood's going to play down the right-hand side. Just narrowed it a bit in midfield, maybe Tevez from the left.
Well, 10 minutes to go. That could really determine. First of all, the outcome of the points, because it's winnable for both sides. West Ham have got to believe that they can get their noses back in front. And if it was to see decided for Spurs, I don't think it'd be too much of an exaggeration, Andy, to say that it could really settle West Ham's hash. Even with the 9 games left.
No, they're going to keep the two up top. Kepa and Tevez will play up front. Lee Bowyer just moved infield one.
Here is Tevez. Terry a bit slow to sort it out. Tevez jumped into Dawson. To this point, it has been a tale of two halves.
Well, it's drifting at the moment, and since the second goal, really, it's as if Tottenham take their foot off the gas a little bit. West Ham have got themselves together a little bit better.
Defoe, anticipating that for Spurs. Eventually, Tainio has to chase it down. Wonder with the header. Tainio again. And again.
It's nicely disguised by Huddersfield there. Everyone thinking he's just going to whip that in. Just slid it down the side.
He's got a corner that he might whip in here. This time need their concentration at full tilt. Just wondered with Teddy Sheringham in the ground today whether that was Spurs shooting a version of the old Sheringham corner. It was Dawson who went towards the near post. Off comes Etherington. One ex-Spurs player gives way to another in the shape of Bobby Zamora.
Well, he's got 4 front men on. They might not all be playing up there, but he's certainly got 10 outfield players packed with front men now. So you can't be accused of not going for this.
So to Spurs. Stalteri. It's a non-playing role at West Ham United these days for Teddy Sheringham.
Well, a good ball in. Sometimes only takes this. A struggle for West Ham second half. They've got plenty in there now. 5 decent targets. Needs Tevez to produce a ball.
And he does! Bobby Zamora! Who's only been on a matter of moments. And West Ham have regained the lead with 6 minutes to go.
The game great. I said to you, produce a ball. There are plenty of people in there. He's packed his side with front men. It's a mismatch, really. And if the ball's a good one and you get a good spread across the 6-yard box, then you've just got a chance. It's a super header from Zamora. What a first touch. At least I think it's his first touch. Well, the ground has suddenly come to life.
It means the world to West Ham United. The 5th goal in the game goes to the home side when all the signs were turnaround. And a former Spurs player only scored 1 goal for Spurs, and that was against West Ham. Has hit his old club hard here. And given West Ham United the potential of an astonishing lift. But there's still time to negotiate. But not that much of it. No.
Little Tevez again though, isn't it? It says quality. You often don't see the ball that you want delivered in there. That certainly was delivered into the perfect area. As I've said, I think that's a mismatch. Zamora jumped with Kainu, I think. And there he is, enjoying his moment. What a part he's played today in the 3 goals, Tevez. Creator of 2, scorer of 1. Guess man of the match will be easy if they hold on to this lead.
He's still learning the lingo, but I think he's getting his message across. Well, the good times have been few and far between, but he might just be about to appreciate a win on a must-win day. And here is Adel Taarabt with his Tottenham debut, the 17-year-old French starlet on loan from Lens. Trying to make the same sort of impact in this match that Zamora has done. He may have decided the match. May have. Bowyer. Konchesky. Spurs stirred again. I agree with you, Andy. When it went 2-2, they did seem to take their foot off the accelerator. I'm trying to thrust it down now. That'll be a free kick.
I'll tell you what,
ending up in the penalty area, is on the edge.
No wonder you love the football. It's just unbelievable. What a sport. This is a free kick. There's a little nudge there. Anton Ferdinand and Stalteri. A little unnecessary.
Well, they have had a 3-3 here, haven't they, this season against Fulham. And Robert Green, who was a picture of delight, typified what it meant to West Ham when he saw the ball in the net at the other end.
Well, you wonder what psychologically this would do to West Ham if Berbatov smashes this in and finds the net. I mean, that's a real crowd scene in front of the goalkeeper. Pick the bones out of that. Can you see anything, Robert Green, at all?
I'm wondering about whether someone's going to go back on the line.
Well, if they do, they're going in with them.
It's Berbatov! And Spurs have levelled it at 3-3. Their smooth operator has just measured the ball into the West Ham net, and there's a sting in the tail of the most painful kind for Alan Kirbishley, Robert Green and company.
Well, look, Konchesky gets back, but the quality of the free kick is just too good. It's over, it's up. Can you get there? Oh, no. Not quite the corner. What a day it's been for this man. What a day. Well, what will that swing of Berbatov's right foot do for this club now? And I don't mean Tottenham, I mean his club.
On the verge of a high. It's another low. It's another kick in the teeth. But what a stylish free kick from Berbatov. Konchesky.
Well, we've got 4 or so minutes, I'm sure, are going to come on the board in 10 seconds or so's time. There's not another goal in this game, is there?
Harewood. Oh, Noble. And Tevez!
How close you think? We've no idea, have we?
Absolutely none.
He suggests it's very close. When it goes right across the goal, we've got an idea here. How close is it? Oh, that close. That's close. Oh, Mark Noble's hands are up in the air. He thinks it's in. Look at all around. The claret and blue.
On the half volley, no half measures. Berbatov.
He's a mile off.
And the flag reflects that. They led 2-0. They led 3-2. West Ham United. Well, the Premiership weekend started with a massive match at Anfield.
Yeah.
It's finishing here with a momentous match at Upton Park. It's Lennon.
Well, you have to say, in the evidence of what you've seen today, no West Ham fans will take. I think what I'm saying is an insult or anything, but you wonder why his side are playing where they're playing in the league. I mean, why are they propping up this division? I know it's probably not the strongest side, but think of what they've done today and how they've gone about this. And 3 goals scored, all right, 3 conceded. But their attitude's been first class, their drive, their commitment, their desire, all the things you'd want in the team have been there. And they're propping up the division.
Zamora must have thought he'd won it, and he wouldn't have been alone in the claret and blue colours here. But they could still yet lose it, because here's Defoe. Ferdinand was a bit more forceful there. It wasn't the greatest of balls to Lennon.
No, it wasn't. That was a chance for them, Tottenham. They're having a debate, Defoe and Lennon. Lennon's quite right to be a little disappointed with the ball he got from his teammate.
Here's Defoe. Huddleston. He's got a very good shot on him. He goes for the ball to Tarabt. The youngster's made his mark. He won the free kick that led to the equaliser. He's behind the sofa, so to speak. West Ham have got a free kick. He might want to look.
Oh, here we go again.
Is Tevez going to take it? He should do.
Oh, he's got a choice here. It's certainly within his range.
And he scored 1 and made 2. With the West Ham 3.
And as I've said, there are plenty of targets there.
If you need a moment to turn your season around at the crucial stage, this has that scenario. Konchesky. Tevez was off to take it. It's almost so important that Robert Green should come forward. He's not, and you can understand why. So defeat would be catastrophic. But victory is everything for West Ham. In goes Neil. Back to Noble, who got the goals rolling. Zamora. Oh, and there's a break on for Spurs now. And it's Defoe. Konchesky is the one-man back. Trying to buy the Hammers some time. Defoe! Oh!
Oh no.
Oh, Paul Stalteri on the scene. And Tottenham have got their noses in front in stoppage time. And Alan Kirbishley can scarcely believe what he's seen.
Well, words fail me, and I've never said that in my life. It's a lovely break. They lose it, they get sloppy, and Defoe does well. But look at the support he's got. They just bomb forward, and he makes something happen, Defoe. If ever young players want to know why you go across a goalkeeper, that is why. He's made a really good save. He can't keep a hold of it. And the tap-in wins the game for Tottenham. Unbelievable afternoon of football in the Premiership. Unbelievable.
It hasn't finished yet. Here's Kepa. But it's almost finished. And West Ham United are sliding even closer towards the trapdoor.